I suppose you wonder who I am. My name's Cy Parry. Although I'm down in Cornwall at the moment, I was born in the South Wales Valleys in a place called Rumney. Born to a very large, really, and musical family. I've always had music around me since I was born. My mother was a very, very good pianist. My brother taught me guitar. Something I went on to take a good step further, I guess. And I started writing songs when I was in my mid-teens, and went on from there to carry on writing more maturely, I guess, based very much on things which have happened to me or people that I know, songs which actually mean something. And I have found actually mean not only something to me, but touch other people as well. So it's taken quite a long time, but I finally made my debut album, which is called Songs from a Previous Existence. And without actually having gone through this experience and being the age that I am, the album would never have been written. So, okay, I'm no spring chicken. I'd like you to know me and see where I've been. Would you recognize me in the state I was in? Glad to see you so good. Well, we're down here in Marazion, in Penzance, and this isn't a photo shoot for Cornwall. It's a part of the world that I lived in for nearly 2 years, and it was where really the start for Songs from Previous Existence occurred, when I was playing in a pub not more than a quarter of a mile from here, where I met the producer, Dare Mason. I was playing at an open mic session, and I'd met a few people, a few musicians, and gone along. And one of the songs, which was called If I Could Take Your Pain Away, it had quite an effect on a lady called Julie Elwyn. Always made her cry. And she was a really good friend of Dare Mason's, and he came along one night to listen, and after I'd played, he came up to me and said, well, I think you should really get into the studio and record some of the stuff that you've written. And it was from that point really onwards that the kick-off for the whole album began. And it was a little while afterwards that I was able to really make a start on the album, when I'd actually moved back from the area here to live in Wadebridge. And the album, as it is, would never have been written. And the songs and the way that they came together, the emotions, the events which are described within the words of the songs, none of those things would have been written unless I had actually gone through the life and musical experience which I have gone through. Some of the things that I've written have been very successful, they've been published. one thing won an award down here in Cornwall and was performed at Truro Cathedral, and it was the first of such children's events apparently which ever performed at the cathedral, and was an immense success. But I hadn't thought of taking my own music any further until something unfortunate happened to me, and I had a stress-related illness because of something which had happened personally to me. Everybody thinks it was teaching, but it wasn't. And I pretty much cut out of life for quite a long time. But music was a massive, massive part in my eventual recuperation, and it went on from there. I moved down to Penzance and I met many, many other musicians. I started writing again, and when I eventually met Dare Mason, that was the catalyst, I guess, for really getting myself together musically again, believing in myself, believing in the music, and believing these songs were actually worthwhile, and that people actually really wanted to listen to them. So when Dare approached me and said, you know, you should get in the studio, then that was pretty much all I needed as far as affirmation was concerned, that my music, my songs were worth something. And eventually, and it took a little while, eventually the album came to be. Hasn't time changed you? Could you be the same girl that I used to know? This is Wadebridge. This is my hometown now, and it's where I taught in the primary school for about 11 years, and thanks to the headmaster who worked with me for all of that time, I did a great deal of writing for schools, and as I said earlier, for the event which happened in Truro Cathedral, which we won an award for. But getting back to here and leaving Penzance was an unfortunate occurrence, really, but it turned out to be a good fortune to me, because I met someone rather special who I'd known a little of previously when I lived here. And it was through her belief in me that I was able to go ahead with the practicalities of recording the album. Her belief and her support led to the album actually coming to total fruition, and she became my wife, and that's a happy ending if you want one. And I owe her an absolute, you know, everything, and it's to Annie that I suppose I need to dedicate this album, because without her I don't think it really would have happened. We live about a mile away from here in a beautiful house, and it's a wonderful town here, Wadebridge in North Cornwall, and it is here, I suppose, that my previous existence came to an end, where, okay, the songs from a previous existence album came to be, but a new life for me really has begun, and it's thanks to her, as well as thanks to people in the past, those wonderful musicians and people that I met and helped me so much down in Penzance. But this is where I live now, and this is where I'm going to stay, and it's a wonderful, wonderful place. If you listen to the album, then you will see from the words and from reading the words in the booklet that a heck of a lot has gone on in my life. But now is a new beginning. That was truly a previous existence. And if you listen to the album, I hope you enjoy it.